All right, guys. So today we're going to do a optimization training. Okay. So this is a campaign that's been running for 30 days, right? So we're going to go through the statistics. So this campaign is actually in goal range when it comes to lead volume. You can see here they have 72 leads that came through and cost per lead, which is $42 a lead. So this is junk removal. I'm totally content with $42 leads and junk removal with Google Ads. Okay. Anywhere between technically 30 and 50 is where you want to be with junk removal and Google Ads. Conversion rate 28%. So totally nailed that. Good to go. Search impression share 53%, which means we have a whole other half of the market to get. So this guy can definitely get way more leads. Okay. So in today's video, sorry, I got sidetracked there. We're going to actually optimize this campaign. And I'm going to give you all the tools you need by the end of this video. If you watch to the end, you're going to have all the tools you need to optimize a campaign and to keep it on the rails and producing week over week. That is the true magic with Google Ads optimization, guys. Okay. It's not a build a campaign once for a client and then just pop in every other week or once a month and do some things. Like, no. You got to go into this account at minimum once a week. Okay. Depending on how much you spend. I think this guy's 140 a day. Monday through Friday, I believe. So not a huge account. So this is a once a week account where you'll have to come in once a week and do the optimizations we're going to do in this video. So the first thing we're going to do before we do anything else is kind of just see what the hell is going on with the keywords and if we're wasting any money and if we can cut it. So you'll see here we have a target CPA set in the account for $50. We only do that after we have 20 conversions within a 30-day window. Then we usually flip on target CPA. We want, honestly, if you can wait longer, because the more conversion signals you give Google, their smart bidding algorithm, the better it can do at getting you cheap leads, which is why this guy has, what was it, $45 leads or whatever, $42 leads, and we're set at 50. So the first thing we do is go to keywords and see what can we cut that's wasting money. Now, how we do that, there's two different ways. The first way, we're going to sort by conversions, okay? So sort by conversions. Sort by cost by conversion. So we're looking at a couple keywords here that are really expensive, right? Well, this keyword drove a $91 lead, a $95 lead. So there's some fat we got to trim off here. Now, I'm looking at a 30-day window of time. So I actually want to go back a little further. So you don't really want to pause high CPL keywords unless you have, in my opinion, this is how we do it, a 60-day window, right? And that's what I'll look at to decide if I'm going to pause something. You can do it within 30. It's really up to you. It's a personal preference, okay? So if I go back to the 15th of March to today, okay, so they're universally shitty keywords. They're expensive, and they are wasting money. So the first thing we're going to do is pause this keyword, okay? We're going to trim that fat because when you look at it like this, when you have a keyword that is $152 and your target is $50, that $152 is dragging up the overall CPL of the entire campaign. So the faster you can trim this kind of fat, the lower you're going to maintain your CPL. And here's another one, right? 1 for 5, $83 a lead, Atlanta junk removal. I'm just going to pause it. You could wait for more data, but in this case, this campaign is pretty dialed in. So I'm going to pause it. So looking here, 68. I'm okay with 68, right? Let's just give that more time because it's not terribly expensive. That could come back down to the $15 range, $50 range. It's only $18. But all the really high shit, I'm just going to pause that. We're going to trim that fat right off the campaign. So that is optimization tactic number one, is pausing high CPL keywords. Make sure you have a big window of time, 30 to 60 days. So the other side of this is clicks. Okay, so optimization tactic number two is cutting dead weight clicks. So sort by clicks. All right, we have a bunch of clicks here. We want to make sure that we're not getting crushed with, high clicks and no leads. So here's one right here. Junk removal cost 0 for 13. Okay. It spent $44, $50, it looks like. So I'm going to pause this. All right. This is just getting clicks and wasting money. So we're going to trim that fat right off the campaign. And again, this all goes towards the overall goal, guys, of lowering the cost per lead by doing these optimizations. All right. So we've done that. And then we have 12, 9 is okay. So I usually I won't pause a keyword normally. If it's, this is a cheap one though, so it's $3 a click. But normally if it's 0 for 13, I'll pause it. If this was 0 for 9, I'd probably leave it. However, if this was a different niche, let's say like bathroom remodeling or something like that, and it was 0 for 9, and it was $44 a click and the guy spent like hundreds of dollars, then you got to pause it. Okay. So one size does not fit all for this guy. So use discernment when you decide what you need to cut from your campaign. Just make sure it is truly not a good keyword. Okay. So costs up generally is not, and I just know that because I've been doing this for so long. So that is optimization tactic number 2. Number 3, I'm going to come down to advanced bid adjustments. All right. I always look for this. Essentially, if you don't know what this is, just hover over it. It gives you a little interaction type explanation. It's essentially just calls. Right? It's calls from call extensions, stuff like that. So you can adjust this bid up or down. All right. So first thing you want to do when you're going to adjust this bid is make sure it makes sense to even adjust it. Do you have coverage? So we're at 70% pretty much impression share. We have 30% more to go, so we can get more of these leads. Okay. But here's the caveat. They generated us 20 leads in the last, 60 days, go back to 30. 10 leads in the last 30 days, $37 a lead. So that's cheap. Okay. 90% conversion rate. So I want more of this traffic. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bump this from 8 to 10. Now, if you're just doing this for the first time, you can I usually go up in 5% increments, whether it's up or down. All right. So in this example, I'm going to bump it up and I'm going to do that. Now, the other side of this, if this was, $50 a lead, I'm not going to increase bids, right? Because then it's going to increase my cost per lead. So it doesn't make sense. I'm pretty much capped. Okay. Now, if it was $80 a lead, okay, I would decrease the bid adjustment here by clicking this, going to decrease, and I would decrease by 10% because I want to pay less for this high cost traffic that's not converting that well. It costing me extra high lead costs. Okay. So keep that in mind. It could go either way, but this is definitely a metric you want to keep an eye on. Most people skip this. All right. So that's number 3. Number 4, going up to devices. Very important. In this campaign, we are not running desktop computers or tablets. Sorry, guys, if I sound all nasally. It's allergy season. It's May 2025. I'm getting crushed right with pollen. So computer to tablet traffic are negative 100%. I've turned them off. We're doing mobile phones only. So here's another tactic you could do. However, I'm not going to because I'd like the lead cost at $42. You could increase this if you want to get more of this high converting traffic. Okay. If you have to balance it though with your lead cost. So if I said, my client's like, hey, listen, I don't care if I pay $50 a lead, I want more volume. Then you would be like, green light, let's come in here. We can increase this bid by 5% and try and get more of this high converting traffic. And this goes the same as the last tactic, guys. If this lead cost was, let's say, $65, we could also come in here and decrease it by 5% to kind of wind that CPL backwards a little bit. However, high CPL usually can be dealt with in our first 2 I showed you, which is the cutting the high CPL keywords and the non-converting keywords. All right. So that is number 4. Now, number 5 is arguably the most important, which is management of your search terms. So you're going to want to come in here and do this every single week. And you're going to want to simply pull out bad search terms. So these are phrases that were typed directly into Google that triggered your ad. So if you start scrolling down, Forest Park is a location that the client doesn't service. So in this example, I would grab Forest Park as a root negative keyword. I add all my negative keywords as exact match, pulls into my tool so I can easily do this. You guys are going to have to use a spreadsheet or a third-party match typing tool if you want to do this, or you can just download Keyword Me, which is a link in the description if you want to use our tool. All right, scroll down, and we're just looking for anything that pops out that is just completely irrelevant, right? Treadmill. So I'll grab treadmill, add that to my list. Client doesn't want that kind of stuff. I'm going to sort the list further down, and we're just going to keep working our way down and just looking for anything that pops out that's just highly irrelevant. We don't want our ads to trigger for anything like that. So this campaign is pretty dialed in. That's why there's not really much in here, but okay, here's one. Coupon. I grab the word coupon. So there's a couple ways you could do it. You could grab the whole keyword by clicking here and it add as a negative keyword, or it adds it to my tool list here. Or you can just click the root, which is coupon, and just anything that if you add coupon as a negative keyword, any search term with the word coupon in it will not trigger your ads. So you can do both. It's really up to you. All right, scrolling down. Junk removal load board. So this is something that is not relevant to what we're doing. So grab load board. Scroll down. They don't do this location. 20. I think that's how you say it. I'm unsure. Veterans. Above ground pool, right? They don't do that stuff. Keep scrolling. I think that's probably good, right? I'm going to keep you guys here while I go through all these search terms, but you get the idea. You're going to want to keep going through bin and pulling out the bad stuff, right? Lawn bag, all that stuff. And just kind of anything that pops out that you want to get rid of, okay? Republican Service, which is probably Republic. Salvation Army, we don't want that. And I think that's probably good, right? Okay. So let's say you have your root negative keywords and maybe you checked a couple boxes, right, to get rid of some of the negative terms right in here, okay? You would just do add as negative keyword, campaign. It's going to automatically add them as a negative match type of exact match. There's not really, you could personally change them yourself, and that's why it's a pain in the ass to do this, and that's why I created keyword me, so we don't have to do this anymore. It's much faster. So it's already exact match, so I'm just going to leave that. Save. So you added the keywords as negative keywords. Now we're going to go add the root negative keywords into the campaign. Come to keywords. Click the plus here. I'm sorry, what am I doing? Negative keywords, then the plus. Okay, make sure you have your campaign chosen. You're going to copy your list from, if you're using a spreadsheet or a third-party match typing tool, or if you're using KeywordMe, just grab your list here. I do all mine in phrase match. Copy all. Paste, and you would hit save. Okay, and that's how you're going to do negative search terms on a weekly basis. Super important, guys, okay? Really, really, really important. Now, let me just go once over this to make sure I don't want to add any of these. I think they're all good. Save. All right, so now the next thing you should be doing, okay? I got one more trick up my sleeve for you, okay? This is expanding your ad group. So this is probably the most fun thing for me. All right, so let's find an ad group. Let's say junk pickup, okay? So you come into the ad group, you want to expand with keywords. You click the blue plus icon. Google's going to get keyword ideas. It's going to suggest keywords to you. Now, keep in mind, guys, most of these keywords are dog shit, okay? You're going to have to sort through and cherry pick the good stuff, what's relevant to your ad group. So this ad group is junk pickup. So in here, we're looking for junk pickup keywords. So we're going to scroll down. We're going to grab this one. Junk removal. No. We pick up junk. Scrap pickup. We don't really do scrap stuff, so we're going to stay away from that. Okay, so there's two keywords that were suggested out of all of these that are relevant to this ad group. That's what you have to watch out for, guys. It has to be relevant to this ad group. Okay, so we're going to grab these two. So we're going to highlight them after we have them picked here. So you can do this with a third-party tool or Keyword Me. It's up to you. We're going to open Keyword Me. Come up here, add keywords, paste the keywords, click the button, and it adds them here. Choose phrase and exact match, copy, paste, boom. We just expanded our ad group with relevant keywords that are going to drive us more clicks, leads, all that good stuff. And you want to do this ad group by ad group to expand your campaigns. And the bigger they get, the more. Think of it like this: like the more traffic you get is the more keywords you add, the more traffic you get, which is basically throwing out fishing nets into Google and pulling in more clicks, leads, and all that cool stuff. So go forth, my friends, and optimize your campaigns. Take this video and throw it in ChatGPT and say, hey, make me an SOP out of this video, right? And it'll give you a step-by-step list of how to optimize your campaigns on a schedule, right? Really, really important.